Hello and good evening, everyone. I hope you are doing well and having a great weekend. I know here I've been doing really good and I've had a very fun weekend, been getting me some good rest and everything. We got a few people still coming in here. If you are here, be sure to hit the thumbs up, give the stream a like. It lets YouTube know you like the work we're doing. And if you enjoy the channel, be sure you're subscribed with notifications on so YouTube will actually tell you when we post something or go live like this. All right, so hopefully you got your snacks and your coffee ready. For those who are paid YouTube channel members, tier 1, 2, 3, or Patreon members, tier 1, 2, 3, I will be going live to a members only thing tomorrow around noon. So wherever your membership or support of the channel is, keep an eye on it because that I will be posting that. If you are a member, do remember go check out whether it be the community tab for members only or Patreon. You'll find a link for the new members only Gilded server too, which makes it easier for me to communicate with both sections since the two of them won't link up and let me communicate easier. So keep an eye out for that. Also, do remember we have super chats. And the super chats, if any super chat, $5 or more, is included in weekly spell working for health, prosperity, well being, and good luck. And also, it flashes up really big if you have a question that's getting missed because we have been getting busy up in here, which is amazing because this is usually our slow season. And you guys have said, haha, you just laughed at the face of the slow season, which is amazing. So thank you. All right. Violet Star, good to see you. Anthony, aka Immortal, good to see you. Working and watching tonight. Hope everyone is good. Adam Muhammad, good to see you. I'm doing good. Hope you're doing well. Also, Adam, thank you. Vicky, welcome. Blue Star, good to see you. And is that Nano? Good to see you. And Christopher, welcome. So, all right, people. You saw the thumbnail. Somebody knew me being who I am. I'm going to have to say a little something about it, ain't I? I've been getting emails left and right in comments because government has said they have aliens and biologics and all this. And it's been crazy. It has. It's been funny in my email section because every video I'm finding on it, it's not telling us anything we didn't already know. In all honesty, and they say biologics. And the funny thing is that terminology could be used for a monkey found in a unidentified vessel, because again, UFO does not mean aliens; it means unidentified flying object. Now, I'm not saying that it's not, because honestly, statistically speaking, if you look at how large the physical universe is, I think it is only rational to think there's more than just out there, just personally speaking. That said, I think I've covered on here my overall view of aliens. I don't think it's necessarily quite what everyone else would expect. I love the research of it. I find them fascinating. I love to watch documentaries on them. I have hooked up with a few groups from time to time to look into it and investigate them. I've been over to areas like Mount Adams and out in New Mexico, but I'm also very, very picky because, well, there's a lot of people who they just go off the deep end, and I'm getting a lot of those people contacting me now, and I got a lot of people who know my viewpoints and know how reserved and cautious I am to jump into anything contacting me. And I'll be honest, it's one of those things, like, it's cool, it's awesome. It's not anything I really can't say I didn't know. I mean, the military's let people know this kind of stuff for years in different areas where the military actually works. Um, which is cool, which, we might do more videos and discussions on aliens and the like, which I think would be fun discussions. We might even do a full roundtable on it. What I won't do, and this is one reason I'm bringing this up here in the live stream, what I won't do is dive into a conspiracy tunnel, especially military or government conspiracy. Remember, we don't do politics here. And I do view military government conspiracy as politics. So let's try to avoid that as best we can, because I do think the discussion of aliens and thought processes is good. Now, for me, and I'm just going to get this on the table quick and easy. For me, when I say aliens, I am specifically talking physical, biological entities. Okay, if it's not something within the physical realm, I don't care. And it really doesn't. At this point in time, with the research everyone's been handing me, it doesn't register, because at that point, you might as well say dragons are aliens, fae are aliens, the Norse deities are aliens, the Greek deities are aliens, and just anything you can make up and can't prove its existence is an alien. And from my viewpoint, y'all know I have a scientific brain, right? Y'all know that I have a scientific brain. You can't prove it, and that defeats the whole point, much like how I research cryptids. So if you believe that, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I want to be clear where I stand, because I have a lot of people, they've come to me, they're all excited to share this ideal or and whatnot. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. Then they ask what I think. I answer what I think, and they just seem to deflate. People don't deflate if I have a different thought process. Don't. I like to think one of the beauties of this channel is the fact that I encourage people to seek out their own path and seek results, not to think like me. Anywho, let's see where we're at. Are you a Golden Dawn adept by chance? I have not initiated particularly into the Golden Dawn tradition. Okay, I've studied with different ceremonial magicians. I have worked with many Golden Dawn adepts who have taught me a lot. I found it quite fascinating. But no, I am not initiated, and thus far, I do not, out of respect for those who are initiated, I don't claim it at all. I will claim certain ceremonial practices and certain knowledge therein. And I've had adepts tell me that I can do certain rituals better than people they've known who's done this for years. I don't know if they're just blowing sunshine up my behind or not. It was a nice compliment. That's all I take it as. I personally always keep myself on an ego check. Y'all heard me call myself just a crazy redneck more often than not on this channel. And that's really where I keep myself. So that's the best I can tell you on that one, is I'm not initiated. So me personally, I do not view it at all. I'm very respectful of traditions and initiations. And I know this sounds crazy because they're like, Drake, man, you teach all this openly. Yes, I do. You'll also notice I don't teach tradition. I teach basics. I teach mechanics. I teach a process. I teach, the framework of magic. That's why why I refer to it as the science of magic. And then you can put onto that framework whatever you want and go any direction you want. That's why. And you'll also notice I completely steer clear of a lot of initiatory practices. Like, I don't know, let's say voodoo. I know a lot of voodoo practitioners, but I don't talk about it on this channel due to the initiatory requirement that I do honor and respect. Let's see. Please tell me I'm not the only one who thinks it's a cover-up or something. Vicky, don't need to apologize for that. You don't need to apologize, because at the bare minimum, I'll give you all this. Y'all know, most of you know, I'm not a big fan of politicians. Okay? I don't view that as political. I'll just say I'm not a fan of them. Anyway, here's what I will say. Like a magician on stage. Anybody watch Penn and Teller? Good people. Go check out their video on the rules of a stage magician, because one of those is misdirect. And if someone's got me looking here, and you learn this playing poker as an old gambler, which I am. I got a lot of my vehicles gambling that way. But if someone's got you looking here and they really want you to look here, my brain always wants me to know what's going on over here. It really does. Now, is that positive? Is that negative? Is that conspiracy? You know what? It's human nature is what that is. That's all that is. And I always encourage people to read, to think, and to reach conclusions for themselves. Anyone old enough, okay, I'm old enough to remember Walter Cronkite, okay? Um, I used to hate this guy as a kid. I really did because I wanted to be entertained and I found him boring. Because what he done, he got up here on the TV, had his little paper, he read facts. He read, this is what we know at this time. Is honestly like is less entertaining than a science lecture or even a English lecture. It was just boring. And at the bottom of it, he'd go, and now you decide for yourself. Whoop! I'll crack my mic on that one. And it was boring. I missed that because now, like news and media, it's all entertainment. You don't know what's going. And I want to get back to the point where the individuals using critical thinking, they're reading, they're checking sources, whether it be on science, whether it be on media, whether it be my dumbass up here on YouTube. Dive into the literature, dive into the research, check it for yourselves. That's one reason, like on this channel, when we come to Magick, what do I tell y'all? Try it. See if it works for you. If it does, amazing. If it doesn't, okay, check someone else out. Come back here. Maybe ask me a question. Maybe we can tweak it. Because again, this is a results-based channel. If it ain't working, why are you wasting your time? I know for a fact if my magic didn't work, I wouldn't waste my time. I got better things to do. And we all have the same exact 24 hours a day. So I ain't wasting my time with crap that don't work, right? I view that in all aspects of life, all aspects. So if I see something, I read into it. I check it out. I do my own due diligence. I'm a big believer in that. My grandfather drove that into me. He's like, whatever they're telling, he actually used to call the TV the ignorant box. I remember that very clearly. He's like, whatever they're telling you on this ignorant box, and it could be Andy Griffith, it could be the news, it could be Looney Tunes. I mean, even shows he liked. Matlock. He always told me, go back and read it. And he was so keen on this, people. I grew up in the South, Southern Baptist religious place, right? My grandfather once looked at me and he said, don't you just go to church and listen to what any old preacher tells you. He's like, for that matter, don't just listen to what a preacher tells you. He's like, you get the book, you read it yourself, and you take time to consider it. So my grandfather literally told me not to trust preachers. That's how dead set on personal due diligence this grumpy old man was. So across the board, that's where I'm at. So don't worry about that one bit, Vicky. I understand where you're coming from on that. And whether it's magic, whether it's, I do my diligence. My wife actually laughs at me because, like, if I get interested in something, I like latch onto it like a bulldog, and I just want to know every little intricate detail about it. So a friend of mine got me some pipes many years ago, and he gave me some pipe tobacco, which I had a couple. He showed me how to pack a pipe and all this. It was a nice little thing, bonding moment for me and him, and great. But when it came to tobacco, I was like, I don't know anything about any of this. I dove into it. I learned all these different methods of how to pack different types of tobacco. What are different tobaccos? What's their profile? What's their makeup? Why do some people prefer this? Why do some people prefer? I went down this maddening spiral like that. And you would have thought, because of how invested in this knowledge I was, that I'm an avid pipe smoker. I'm not. I still have several pipes that were either gifts or whatnot. But I probably, on average, maybe have one pipe a year, if that. So, I mean, I'm just a knowledge junkie when it comes like that. I do have video games too, I'll be honest with you. Let's see. Let's see. All right, let's get up here. I know I've been ranting, so we probably missed some stuff up here. Maria, great to see you. Jade, I'm so glad you can make it. Anthony, actually, everybody, our own Immortal here, one of our channel members. I want to say you're tier 3, Anthony. Yes, you're tier 3. That's what it is. I'm remembering correctly now. Will be joining me and Jade and I believe Bornoldus for a roundtable chat. We've already got the topic picked. We have it scheduled, and he will be joining us for a roundtable. Many of you saw here recently, we had a roundtable chat where Pipe Smoking Heathen joined us for the Science and Magic Roundtable. So we are super excited to have Immortal joining us for that particular roundtable. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a topic that a lot of us are excited about. Let's see. And okay, we got a super chat here. Got to grab that one. Let's give some likes. And the lucky SR71 Blackbird responsible for a lot of UFOs when it was being. Yep. Perfect example, Wasabi. Thank you for the super chat. Mugs up to you, mate. And yeah, let's get those likes up, people. We got 11 thumbs up and 22 people. I ain't pretty enough for there to be 22 people just staring at me. Come on, let's get some thumbs up in here. And if you think I am that pretty, I would think you'd hit the thumbs up. Maybe not. I don't know. But yes, the SR71 Blackbird, a freaking amazing jet. I love that jet. Definitely not state of the art these days, but you have a valid point there. All right, let's get up here where I was ranting to see what we got. Those are not aliens, although they are interdimensional being. Are well, again, I'm more inclined to believe aliens over interdimensional beings, and that goes into a whole new thing. But you're right. When we're talking about dragons and these things, those are interdimensional. But there are so many people who wants to lump those in. And that's one of the reasons it's so hard for me to take most of the UFO community seriously anymore. Because it's like the science has disappeared. It's just they're going to believe it. They've already reached a decision before they even done their research. And that drives me ape. And because of that, it makes going out and doing these with most groups no longer enjoyable. I am hoping to find potentially another group. If I can't find a group, I may just get out there on my own. Screw that crap. Oh, very nice. Sorry about that. There are groups that say gods are aliens and talk to these aliens. So they say, yep, there's people that say the gods are just aliens. Then that's kind of like the whole ancient astronaut theory. You know what? At this point in time, I've not seen enough to convince me of anything ancient astronaut. I have not. I believe these people have less faith in humanity than I do, which is sad. Because if you have so little faith in humanity that you can't believe ancient mankind figured out certain things, or your ego's so high about humanity now that you think we know it all and can't figure this stuff out. Either way, it's a bad place to be in my mind. Calando, fallen angels. Well, again, this depends on which side of the theological realm you're on, because there are definite references within theology about the watcher angels and fallen angels. There's also complete areas where fallen angels don't exist within theology. So you're falling into a religious discussion where we have no contextual proof outside theology. And that's another place where I've told people I'm faithless and I'm not really a spiritual person, because just because they put it in a book, just because ancestors talked about it, don't make it real. The ancestors thought the world was flat. The ancestors thought that lightning was just a bunch of people fighting in the sky. The ancestors thought a bunch of things that we know equivalently just isn't true. They tried to make sense of things they couldn't understand at the time with their base knowledge. I have no reason to believe at this point in time any differently. And I know that's crazy because you all know I do evocation. I work with these entities. And ironically, I will not put forth my work and my gnosis as facts. I will put forth to this as my findings. Just like when many of you all have asked me about demons and angels here on this channel, I've never met a fallen angel. And I have met angels by name that people consider fallen, Azazel being one of them. In fact, he's one of the key watcher angels in theology. I also have, in working with these entities, angels and demons, I've seen no proof of any of the spiritual warfare of heaven and hell. I see them working side by side, hand in hand, for a common cause. That's my gnosis. If that burns your butter or rubs you the wrong way, that's groovy. I don't mind. But I'm also not going to debate it because I've had enough time in the church to debate pastors, and I've seen enough fallacies in theology. That's why I'm not a man of faith. And that's also why I'm not a spiritual person. I'm a man of manifestation. I'm a man of actual results. If it can't be put in front of me, I'm just. A lot of you may think my life is boring because if you can't put it in front of me, then it doesn't hold as much water for me, or if it doesn't manifest and show some form of tangible. But for me, that is where I'm at. That's what's brought me as far as I am as a magician. I have questions. I expect results. Plain and simple. Okay, oh crap, we jumped again. I'm trying to catch up, people. I really am. I promise. I'm just really talkative for some reason now. You know what it is? I fixed my bed. I'm getting better sleep. That's the problem. Okay, creator. I'm trying to create an investment proposal. Would X-Men be helpful to me in this investment? Yes, X-Men would be great, creator. Absolutely. Reach out to him on that one. I actually use X-Men for a lot of my investing. But also trust yourself too. Don't put it all in the hands of an entity. Trust yourself. I've seen a lot of people like, well, I did this ritual. This ritual told me to do this, and I lost it all. I don't know what to tell you. You're part of the equation too. Don't forget that. Everyone's in. Angela, hey everyone, sorry I'm late. Good to see you. Glad you can make it. It's literally the best way to approach it, to be honest. Also, I get hyper fixated on random things too. I'm a real knowledge seeker. Yeah, see, Vic, I do it. My wife laughs at me all the time because I will just like, and then I just have all this random information. And those people who get to sit down and talk with me at random, they're like, how do you know this crap? It's like, I don't know. I read stuff. I get bored. I will literally read or watch stuff that I'm not even interested in just because to learn about it. I'm just weird like that. Creator, you're pretty handsome. Oh, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Let's see, where some new tech that can see images of what you're thinking. Do you think the new tech will soon be able to help prove magic scientifically? I don't know. I've heard a lot about this tech and stuff, and it still has a lot of faults. It has a lot of interpretation. I unfortunately have to deal a lot with neurology because I'm epileptic. Though this tech does have me quite interested, not gonna lie at all. Possibly, but we've been able to read and isolate brain waves and brain activity for some time. And though we've been able to see very specific brain activity through trance, meditation, journey works, I believe there was some even done on how the brain receives information during remote viewing. None of that has been quite enough to hold up and say magic is real. So would this? I don't know, I really don't. I do believe increased technology and development in those directions would have a chance because many of you know, as being the scientifically minded fool I am and being a results based magician and, well, faithless and spiritualist, I do believe magic and science are part of the same equation, though I openly admit I don't have all the answers. And I don't know if science can explain it. Maybe it can't, but I hope it can. And I would like to see that developed. And as more and more of these techs are developed, I think it's a probability. I do. I think it's a good probability. And I'm looking forward to seeing where it's going. So I'm hopeful, but you know, I don't know if I'll see it in my lifetime, if that makes sense. Um, let's see, Angela. Thank you. It's been fun so far, drawing my own custom sigils and doing shadow work, art, poetry. Hey, it sounds like a fun day, Angela. Let's see. Drake, have you done any work looking into your past lives? I've seen more videos pop up on them remembering their past lives. I did do a lot of past life work early in my initial studies. And I also have worked with a lot of people, and I started to notice an disturbing pattern for me because I'm researching all this past life stuff, and then I noticed all these people who are hyper focused on past life work are just like, not only are they not progressing in this life, they're actually degressing, if that makes sense. Um, and then it brought up other questions for me about reincarnation and everything. And that's actually part of what led me into further research on um, trying to figure out how the soul worked, how reincarnation worked. How is there reincarnation and ghost? Theoretically, if reincarnation exists, you shouldn't have a ghost. Well, I mean, you could have like a energetic imprint. You know, you could have but you couldn't have an intelligent haunting. Um, so I was trying to figure this out, and that's when I came into and understood that the soul's larger than the vessel, and you're not reincarnating the same person. It's a piece of that person, and that's how you can have ghosts, and that's how you can contact your past life. That's how you can evoke the past you. And honestly, my research at this point in time has shown that your past life has far less to do with your current life than a lot of people want to do. Unfortunately, it's really fun and it sells well. Um, and I have a love hate relationship with past life work because I find it truly fascinating. I love history. I absolutely love history. Um, but there's two things with past life that I've found that become problematic. First off, most people tend to pump their ego up with past lives. And honestly, it really feels like they're lying to themselves. Um, and I'd say most of them are, because the number of people who claim to be the same person can't all be right. And then you run into the um, people who are so hyper focused on the past, they live in the past and they forget to live here. And if you ain't living here, if you ain't experiencing life, you miss the train, people. You're completely off track. So I have done it. Um, it was a big part early on, but I really don't do much with it anymore, nor do I actually put much time in it because of that. And I've actually made more progress and development in my life, my relationships, every aspect of my life, entirely emotionally. Um, I've dealt with some more of my traumas and all those things. Um, since I just said, yeah, I'm done looking back and started looking forward. Now, that's not to say if you enjoy past life work, you shouldn't do it. I'm not saying that. No one put that word in my mouth. I didn't say that. Don't fall into the trap of looking back and not living today, and don't fall into the trap of looking back and pumping your ego up. I don't care if you were king of all penguins in the world in a past life. If you're working at a gas station today, you're Bob working at the gas station today. The past didn't matter. All that matters is today. Period. Check your ego at the door. Thank you. Bye. um, but it can be a lot of fun. It really can. I hope that helps a little. I may have just pissed off a bunch of people and they're leaving because past life work is it's a big, it's a thing. People sell it a lot, and you'll notice I don't really talk a lot about it. All right, creator, I gotta ask, how do I know so much and just say I don't know? I just do research and read stuff. My nickname is the Walking Talking Impedia. That's how I do. Yeah, that's kind of me. Like, everybody's like, Drake, you just have an answer for it. And it's seriously because I just read. I'm a knowledge junkie. It was put into me at an early age, not to be stupid. And that kind of comes from my grandfather. He loved that word ignorant. And he did teach me that a individual who's willing to work hard, educate themselves, can really do anything they want. And to this day, I believe he was right. I've seen it play over and over and over again. I've seen people who's willing to put in the effort and learn and apply it can just reshape their lives. So even though him and I did not see eye to eye on a lot of things, I'm still very grateful for the lessons that old grunt taught me. Do I think some humans are actually aliens? Actually, I do not. I've seen nothing to actually back that up. Would be interesting, and honestly, I can think of a few friends that would explain a lot about, but unfortunately, I've also seen their X-rays. They're not aliens. They're just weird. Let's see. There is actually, I got plenty of people I know who I wish they were aliens because that would just simplify everything and explain so much. Well, crap, we jumped. I knew that was going to happen. I'm way behind on these, ain't I? Also, can you have more than one guardian dragon? Because sometimes some small dragons. Okay, the small dragons that come with the guardian dragon are not guardian dragons. They're just small dragons that are hanging around. Dragons hang around. They do that. But you should only technically only the dragons assigned during the ritual will be the guardian. And it's generally one. In very rare occasions, like two will show up, but it's usually because they're like actual twin dragons. They're not like different dragons, they're twins. And in some cases, it's because a single dragon expresses in a dualistic nature, which is a weird one that Zerg was talking to me about at one point. So the short answer is should just be one. The other little ones are just little ones that hang around. Guardian dragons also watch over hatchlings and stuff like that. So it's very, very common to see them hanging around quite often and everywhere. Anyone who's done Dragon Magic for a while, y'all know what I'm talking about. They're freaking everywhere, right? Actually, at this moment, there's like 4 of them flitting around over here annoying me. I'm trying to ignore them and not look over at them. I'm probably going to fail, so we'll see how it goes. All right. Would you really want to claim that? What? Hold on, I missed something. I would never want to be a royal in the past life. I'd be ashamed, honestly. It would be nothing to be proud of. To be these famous people, look how they act. Yeah, I mean, anyone who reads history, it'd be kind of hard to claim some of those people. It really would. But, you know, most people who are doing this aren't reading history either. So it's kind of one of those old. And then some people really, honestly, they don't care. They, you know, if they're top of the heap, they don't care what the people under them get treated like. That's just also simple truth. You got to remember, some people just don't give a damn. But that should also tell you a little bit about the people when they claim it, don't it? See, not to mention all the shenanigans. Oh yeah, shenanigans. Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to keep it PG. People, if you want to know the shenanigans, read history. Thank you for keeping it ritual. Or PG, small. Appreciate it. Let's see. Exactly what I want to claim. Oh, I think I messed up. I didn't do any rituals. Oh, if you've not actually done a ritual and actually haven't got one assigned, then you probably have a dragon around you, but it may not be a guardian. Guardian is not a dragon that's just with you. It is actually a position and an assignment. There's a lot more to it. But you should be able to find there's a video on it as well as a guided meditation on it. And it tells you to check out the Dragon's Flame ritual, to do that ritual as you lead into it. Gives you all those instructions. Or if you're interested, head over to workingdragonmystic.com, people, where we have online courses at the online school, Dragon Magic 101, crammed full of everything a beginner needs to get started in Dragon Magic. Let's see, Brennan Smith, what is the best way to get results with magic in your life? Oh, that's a good one. For me personally, I what I tell my students, and this seems to work for them, focus on the basics. Work on your meditation, get that going good. Work on your arcane senses, get that going good. Depending on how far you're going to go. If you're just wanting some quick things, Just set out, do the magic. Don't think about, do you believe in it or not? Just focus on it. Like, let's say we're going to do a prosperity spell, right? Look at my long-term prosperity spell on this channel where I use a candle. As I'm gazing into the flame of the green candle, I'm not focusing on how I'm going to get the money. I'm not focusing on anything other than this is my goal. And my goal for that one was my bank account sucks. And I would feel that. I would feel it because I was in the red. It was bad. And I would feel how crappy I felt. But then I would see the bank account with all my bills being paid. Everything is done. I went out to eat, took the wife out to eat, and I still had a little bit left over. That's something I'd never done at that time, right? And I felt how good that would feel. And I'm focused only on the destination. I had that money left after all the bills were paid. That's what I focused on. And I kept that focus and I released it. And I would do that spell once a week. And slowly but surely, I noticed that my bank account starts doing this. And I reached that goal and I surpassed that goal, and I'm still growing that goal. So the short of that, mate, would be do the work, record it, focus on the results, feel free to release it, let it go. Because if you dwell on it, if you worry about it, you're not letting the energy go. That's bad. You got to let it go to get it out there and do that. But write it down and stair step in achievable chunks. Like, I didn't start visualizing a bank account of $1 million. By the way, I still don't have that. I started with having just $100 after all my bills were paid, because that was something to me I couldn't actually imagine having that. That's how bad off it was. And by tracking it, by putting it in something that is tangibly trackable and keeping that journal and doing that working regularly for a year, I was able to easily take and see where I started at the beginning of the year and see where I started or ended the year. And I saw a trend line. And those are the tangible results I seek. And when you're really starting out in magic, if you're new, if you're skeptical, letting go of the skeptical and just jumping in there, diving in there, and focusing on your tangible results and doing the work and recording it is hands down the best way to start doing it. And as those results pile up, you're understanding that this crap works and understanding of how you can adjust it for your personal life and your personal practice. Those start adding up and you will progress. So, I mean, if all you're wanting is just like quick little things like prosperity, go to candle magic, go to sigil magic. Those are amazing. I know people who only do sigil and candle magic, and they have very, very good lives. They're very, very happy magicians. I don't knock it. Everyone has their own path. Not everybody wants to just dive in and go as far as they can and constantly push the envelope. That's not for everybody. So, I mean, you got to figure that out. But if all you want to do is start to create some change, sigil and candle magic, great place to start. Easy places to start recording. Just set your goals. Make sure you're visualizing the end result. Don't worry about the process of how you get there. If you worry about the process of getting there, you start to break down and limit it because you're trying to funnel it through a specific pathway. And I'm also a big believer in give yourself a time frame. Like, I would do this working once a week for a year. And I started it at the first of the year saying, I'm going to do this once a week for a year. So I knew that every time I'm doing this spell at the end of the year, I'm going to be measuring my manifestations. Angela, don't worry. They can just snap you up. Actually, Angela, no, a guardian dragon cannot. It is a position. It's not a dragon can't just come up and like, I'm this guy's guardian. It is a cooperative process that has to be entered into cooperatively, intelligently, and intently. It's not an accident. Dragons can come over and be like, I'm just going to hang around this human, but that doesn't make them a guardian. Dragons are very picky about that term. And we throw guardian dragon around the way that most people throw guardian angels. Like, people just have a guardian angel. That it's not the same thing. Small Bean, what fort does your co-mage usually take? Okay, my co-mage is an asshole with a sense of humor, which is fitting if anyone's met me and knows my personality outside of here. And the form he usually takes will be between two. If he's feeling comical, he will be sitting in a chair in the office, which actually the chair usually sits in right over here, or he'll manifest his own over in that corner. But picture Vito Corleone from The Godfather. That is pretty much it. He even does the freaking accent. It's distracting and it's annoying, but he gets his point across. That's if he's in a cheerful, comical mood. His normal, everyday kind of relaxing, it's kind of if you took Vito Corleone and like spend it with humanoid draconic features. Because again, co-magicians are so freaking big, they're going to have to downsize. Well, he takes on that humanoid form and downsizes. So yeah, he leans toward that Vito Corleone. I once told him, I was like, if I was going to pick a Corleone, I'd choose Michael. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. He didn't like that. But hey. Let's see here. Oh, crap. We got a lot of stuff in here today. Create a dragon. My astral sanctum changed again. I know I told the dragons and Fae to change it as they need to be changed, and I noticed increase of small dragons with bigger dragons watching them. Yeah, the small dragons and whatnot, if you allow them to do it, they're going to pop in. There's no doubt. Dragons will pop in. And if you've given them the ability to keep changing your sanctum, you gave them the authority to do it. So it's going to change. I personally do not give authority to mess with my shit. I don't care how much I like an entity. There are very, very, very few exceptions. And before they make changes, they have to come to me. I'm not a fan of changes without my permission to my sanctum. If they want to make their own sanctum, they can go make their own sanctum. But if you gave them the permission, then you gave them the permission, and that they will do it. And no, you shouldn't be concerned. I mean, if you gave them it, and it's fine. No, that's interesting. How do you decide who's... There is actually a ritual process for finding your specific guardian dragon, and you have to have a guardian before you can find what's known as a co-magician or co-mage. Which I know the process of a guardian dragon is on the channel. Both the Dragon's Flame ritual, which you'll need for it, and the ritual itself, as well. If you don't want to freeform it, we also have a guided meditation. Those are in there. You may have to do it 3 or 4 times. Some people more. Some people, it's rare, but some people do get it on first try. And that process there's like a Q&A with you and these little dragons, because they pair you with the dragon that will be the best for you. And that doesn't note the best for you does not mean you will get along, because my co-mage, hands down, he is the best co-mage for me. Also, for the first 2 years, him and I did not get along. We did not get along. But as a teacher, as an instructor, as a person driving me forward, hands down the best person. Grant you, as I grew as an individual, him and I did actually end up bonding a lot more. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see. Can smaller dragons shape? Nope. Weirdly, dragons can size down, but not up. It's a weird thing about dragons as entities. This is going to sound bad, but size matters in dragon culture. So they like, if your natural draconic form is about this big, this is the maximum you're limited to, within certain parameters. Whereas if you're larger, you can size down, but sizing up, it's a weird thing. Um, I've tried to figure out why this is there, and it like I've asked them many times. I was like, is it just like a cultural thing that you don't do? Kind of like we don't run around naked, we don't streak through the streets, and they're like, no, it's something we can't do. So, oh, okay. And then I had to answer questions why people streak. That's what I need to stop using analogies with dragons. They ask too many questions sometimes. Yeah, so it was an embarrassing conversation. Ended up, but it's still pretty cool. So technically, they could shapeshift humanoid, but they'd be like little humanoids, like itty bitty little fuckers. Uh, so in a technicality, they could, but when you say human, I mean they don't, they don't get bigger. So that would be a critique to that statement. Um, Okay, the Dragon's Flame ritual does not put you in direct contact with the rulers. This is something a lot of people get mixed up. You are not evoking the rulers in that ritual. You are only calling in a portion of their energy through that visualization. At that point in time, for that ritual, the rulers really aren't taking any interest in you. You're not in contact with the rulers at using that ritual. You're only pulling in a portion of their energy that they don't even need to intellectually put towards you when that you do that ritual. Okay. So that ritual does not contact the rulers. The Dragon's Flame ritual is the base ritual for dragon magic and the draconic energy and the draconic currents. You're not actually in direct contact with the rulers. Okay. Um, So from there, you would get your guardian. Then your guardian, you get your comag, and then you need two. You need both of those to actually make direct contact with the rulers. Does that make sense, Vicky? To be fair, that confused the piss out of me early on because they're laying it out to me, and like earlier on, like I told you, I said I had some ceremonial background, and you talk about the evocation of the angels and like the lesser banishing. So you're like calling in these, and it's like, but they're like, no, you're not calling them in. It's like you're flipping my terminology upside down. People, can we use something else? Um, so I understand. It confused me at the beginning too. Let's see. Let's see. The creator, yeah, no, I'm really pulling in energy. It was asking because the dream that followed after I did the ritual. Let's see. Hold on. Let me find that creator. It was up here somewhere. Let's see here. I did the dragon flame ritual. I asked to be introduced to my guardian dragon. I dreamt that I was in the four elemental dragons' presence. They asked me questions and then introduced me to Razine. Creator, I would actually go back, redo the ritual. This is one of the things in Dragon Magic. They will teach you to always be aware. And if something happens in a dream, to confirm it in um, awake ritual, an awakened ritual state outside of a dream state. So because they like constantly drill on that, I'm going to say take that information, go back, redo the guardian dragon meditation. And because if you go through that meditation, those same questions it might be different questions, but you should go through a Q&A. And if this dragon that you're talking about turns out to be your guardian again, then the answer is yes. I would say there's a high probability, but based on the way dragons go through their normal checklist, I can't confirm that for you through a dream. Does that make sense? Because I can tell you right now, if I just say, yeah, that's it, I'm probably going to get a ball bat to the head from one or more of the rulers. I don't want that. I'm having a good day. I don't need a headache like that. So I'm just going to go through the checklist and I'm going to answer you honestly, mate, to the best of my ability. Angela, yay, I'm not annoying. What? Why would you think you're annoying? Oh, you have weird questions? Oh, don't worry about it. We get weird questions here all the time. Are dragons ticklish? A lot of them actually do appear to be ticklish. I don't know if they. I wouldn't go around tickling just any dragon because dragons can be grumpy. Don't get me wrong, but it's also like certain ones. I think they. I mean, I know they can turn it off, so it's interesting. And when it comes to hugs, again, it's kind of one of those things you don't want to just run around and hug dragons. Dragons do have a certain amount of pride and decorum that they like to hold themselves with. Um, so you want to make sure you know them long before you just run up and hug them. That's a great way to rub a dragon the wrong way and turn them off to you. They're not super cuddly, touchy, feely beings. That said, most people you will hear, like the guardian dragon, they may be more cuddly or curl up near them or whatnot. That's a different relationship than the just dragons. Okay, that's different. Um, so that is pretty common for some of the like the smaller, especially the smaller. Like it's the older and larger the dragon gets, the less cuddly they get. That's just general rule of thumb. So even if they size down, don't just run up and hug them. Ask permission before you hug, and make it quick, in and out. Don't treat them like pets. That's also another one. But no, weird questions are fine. We get those around here a lot. Just keep them PG. That's all I ask. And non-political or religious. Those are my only real 3 questions, I think. That's it. I believe so. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here on the coffee hour. I share some of my randomness through the weeks, and I, hang out with you all, talk a little coffee, answer some questions, do my best to anyway. Oh, sitting here drinking out of this cup. For those wondering, I did actually finally try the Outlaw Fire in the Hole soap. Many of y'all know Outlaw. They gave us a little code here. So if you are interested in trying it, there should be a link to outlaw.com. Below, click that, helps support the channel. Also, free shipping with the code Working Dragon Mystic. But a lot of people asked me about that one because I found my favorite, but I'm trying other ones. And I did try Fire in the Hole, which they claim is campfire, gunpowder, whiskey, and sagebrush. That freaking smells amazing. I love it. I really, really love that one. So for those of you who have tried it and told me I got to try it, you were right. That is freaking amazing. For those who haven't tried it, give it a try. And for those who don't know, my go-to is Gambler, which is leather, whiskey, and tobacco. I don't know why. I just love that scent. So there we go. And they're a great company. Very small business, good company. For those who actually matters, none of their products are tested on animals. So check them out. Link should be below this or any other video. Yay. And okay, we're down here. Where am I'm lost again? Let's see. I always ask permission for entities. Thank you. The amount of people who just run up and like freaking want to just hug me, I'm not a hugger. I'm really not. Rainbow, what's with the Appalachia being so haunted? Mate, I don't know. I got many tribal friends around that area. I grew up in that area. I've been all up and down the Appalachia. I love the Appalachia. That is my home stomping grounds. That's where I plan to retire. But I can remember like some of my earliest memories are like Mamaw, Maine, and even though I can't remember like Nanny, my grandmother. I can't remember her mom's name. Wait, might have been Peyton. But I remember them talking about these things, and like they're telling, like in my brain, I'm hearing them tell me about a myth. But hands down, they're not telling me a myth. They're talking like this is a fact. You do this. That's no questions asked. This is life. This is real. Period. And it's so ingrained out there that you just don't ask. I mean, it's just, you don't do this, you don't do that. If you hear your name in the woods randomly, no, you didn't. If you hear a whistle in the woods, no, you didn't. You don't look, you don't stare at the trees in the woods. I mean, it's just so ingrained. It's just like it is. And I've been asked this a lot. Why is it so active? Why is it so haunted? Why is there so much crazy shit? I don't know. I mean, I've even talked to Native American shamans in those areas to see if perhaps their people had maybe some extended legend back that might explain it. They don't know. And it's kind of an interesting thing because it's like you've got pockets. Like it's weird because it's like pockets of activity. Different things and different legends can explain like this little area, this little area, this little area. And yet somehow all these little areas just connect the dots to cover the entire Appalachian region. I don't know. It's a fascinating place. I absolutely love it. If you all get a chance to visit the Appalachian region, I would highly recommend it. It's absolutely beautiful. In fact, there's a section of road referred to as the Dragon that cuts through Tennessee mountains. It is curvy as all shit. It has a lot of overlooks. Oh my God, it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. So there's all these different things that are associated with it. And I mean, like we could start an Appalachian myth or legend series, and I'll die before we get to the end of that series. We really could. Because I just like quickly glossed over a few things here and didn't explain the details on them because it's a crazy region. I love it though. Currently, I'm not stationed in the Appalachian, which breaks my little heart. I do love those mountains. Oh, I love those mountains. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll trip and fall over that answer. To this day, I just got to say, I don't know. It's a crazy active region. I absolutely love it. I've seen some weird crap out there. Can't explain it. And you'd think with all the weird crap I've seen and all the stuff I know as a magician and all the stories my grandparents told and their grandparents, and you'd think who would want to move back? Me? I'm just that kind of idiot, I guess. Let's see. I'm a hugger by nature. Let's see. Don't whistle at midnight, or if you hear owls, might not be an owl. I heard once reading Lauren. Those exist too. Although the whistle at midnight, it's usually just don't whistle at night. Midnight had nothing to do with it when I was growing up. I've never heard the midnight added to it. Weirdly, like you hear a lot about witching hour and that myth and everything. Like Appalachian people just don't give a shit about witching hour. In fact, like it's interesting because I've seen a lot of research talk about a psychic quiet, which falls when most people are asleep and all the psychic clutter is down. And that's why during the witching hours, it's easier to focus and do magic, is because everyone shut the hell up. They're asleep, right? And when you line this supposed psychic quiet up with most areas, when most people are asleep, they line up really well. And it makes a lot of freaking sense. And I think that's pretty cool. In the Appalachian regions where I grew up, everyone who ever talked about it, like you say witching hour, they're going to laugh at it. They're going to be like, I enjoy it. It's quiet. I don't have to listen to dummies. Growing up in the South, we got manners, but we also know people can be annoying. So you had a lot of people who would stay up just to be alone during those hours. But I've always found that funny because you've got this concept of the psychic quiet. You've got this research of, more people's asleep. So it is, a calmer environment. And then you've got, the Appalachian people who's a lot of them, when they stay up late, they just like it because it's quiet. I just want to be alone. I think that's pretty cool. What's the scariest thing you ever bumped into on the astral, and why was it scary? I can't answer that here. It's too graphic. It was during a Cliffothic working. I can't answer that. I enjoyed it to the Witchling. Is the magic hour of inner peace. I don't see. I get where you're coming from. Oh, I just don't do that because it's like no one owns it. Everybody can have fun with it. Enjoy it. In fact, actually, I got a camp out coming up toward the end of this month. So for those of you in the members gilded or in the public gilded area, you may not see a lot of me because I'm going to be out in the woods, no phone connection, just me and some firewood, and I may take some cameras to do some outdoor ritual filming for the channel. We'll see. But by and large, I'm just wanting to go out there, be quiet, and just be and get out in nature. Just Ron Swanson that shit. You know what I mean? Plus, I got some new camping gear I'm wanting to actually put through the field test kind of stuff. So really looking forward to that. But yeah, those hours of that psychic. That's why I kind of actually like that term psychic quiet. I got to remember where I found that originally. Because anyone can take part in it. Anyone can enjoy it. But you can also find it at any time of day if you know how to do it. So interesting concepts there. And Jade is throwing clocks at me, people, which means it is time for your Drake to sally forth and head off and do something else. Actually, I think I got corned beef and cabbage waiting on me. Let's see here. Let's see, Vic, I say it for the same reason. It's currently 2 a.m. Hey, there you go. See, I love me some late night stuff. It's the clocks. It is the clocks. It really is the clocks. Which spirits like whiskey? That's a long list. That's a long list. So I know Odin likes whiskey. I know Thor likes whiskey. I know, honestly, ancestral spirits in general tend to like whiskey. I have found several fae tend to enjoy whiskey. You will, if you look into proper practice and study working with, say, the Loas or the Orishas, there's many of them that actually enjoy whiskey. Perhaps the most popular one that many people know of is Papa Legba. Freya, actually, she's a whiskey girl. I have found the Morgan to be a whiskey girl. So just some quick little run off the mills there for you real quick, because I already got clocks thrown at me. Let's finish up these little questions before I get going. The Appalachian Mountains, magical, wonderful. There are some ancient artifacts causing the... wonder if there's... that's a long one. That is. I don't know. A lot of cave systems under those mountains. Did Asgard borrow? Not to my knowledge. To my knowledge, Asgard did not borrow anything from Earth. To my knowledge. Asgard's construction, I've read it is made of gold, but have not asked. Asgard is not technically made of gold. There is a lot of gold in the myth. There's a lot of gold used. Gold has meaning. A lot of the constant it's made of gold actually comes from the theological overlap of people trying to turn Asgard into heaven. And yeah. So, yeah. It's a great aesthetic. All right, everybody, I'm going to pop off here. You all have a fantastic week. Keep up the great work. Keep on improving. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep those journals that I keep harping about all the time. You will see amazing results if you do that. Also, stay tuned. Look forward in the next coming weeks or so. Hopefully, we'll get that roundtable posted with Immortal. And also, if you are a Tier 3 member and you're interested in joining us for a roundtable, message me directly on the Gilded site. And I will set up a time for us to sit down and chat and talk and see if we can get you in there and if we have a topic that would actually be good, because I don't want to drag you in and just, you don't know what we're talking about. You're sitting there staring at the camera and all that. So let me know and we'll see what we can do if we can do it. Right now it's Tier 3 members for those. Also, if you may by chance have someone you want me to reach out to and consider seeing if they'll give me the time of day to do an interview or whatnot, another cultist on YouTube, let me know. Message that to me also on Gilded. All right, cool. And until next time, everyone, take care and good night. Bye-bye.